Hello and welcome to the Nexus tutorial on how to play the Pokemon trading card game. This will be a beginner's guide just telling you about the basics of how the game is played. Before you begin, you'll need a few things. First, a 60 card deck, which you can build using cards from booster packs or by purchasing pre-made decks. A deck contains a mixture of Pokemon, trainer cards, and energy cards. The cards you need are solely based on what type of deck you're playing, but we'll cover deck construction in a later video. Next, you'll need damage counters, poison and burn counters, and a coin. These all play important roles to track things such as your Pokemon's HP, whether a Pokemon is burned or poisoned, or using attacks that require a coin flip, which are quite common. And lastly, you'll need an opponent to play against. Now let's dive into the gameplay. First, here's an illustration of what the battlefield looks like for this game. You have your active Pokemon spot, the bench, prize card zone, deck zone, discard pile, stadium zone, and the lost zone. So now let's start the game. The first step, shuffle your deck, place it in the deck zone, and draw 7 cards. Make sure you have at least one basic Pokemon in your hand. If you don't, shuffle your hand back into your deck and draw another 7 cards. Repeat this process until you draw a hand containing a basic Pokemon. Next, choose which of your Pokemon will be your active Pokemon and place it face up in the active position. Both players should do this at the same time. The rest of your basic Pokemon should be placed face down in the bench position, which is optional. Next, each player takes the top 6 cards of their deck face down and places them in the prize card zone. Next, each player flips a coin to determine which player goes first. The winner of the coin flip may choose to go first or second. Next, on your turn, you can do the following actions in this order. First thing you do at the beginning of your turn is draw a card from the top of your deck, unless you are the person going first. The person that starts the first turn of the game does not draw a card on their first turn. Next, a player may play a basic Pokemon from your hand onto your bench. You may also play an evolution card onto a Pokemon that's currently in play if that Pokemon is the correct evolution of the card being played, and the Pokemon being evolved has been in play since your last turn. You may also attach an energy card from your hand to one of your Pokemon. You can also play trainer cards during this part of the turn. You may play any number of item cards, but you may only play one stadium card and one supporter card each turn. You can also retreat your active Pokemon and switch it with one of your bench Pokemon by paying the correct retreat cost listed on the bottom of the active Pokemon's card. The next phase in the turn is the attack phase. You can attack only with your active Pokemon. If your attack knocks out your opponent's active Pokemon, you take one card from the prize card zone unless otherwise listed in the card's rules. Then, your opponent selects a Pokemon from their bench and moves it to their active spot. Your turn ends immediately after you attack. At the end of your turn, your opponent takes their turn following the same exact steps. And then, the game continues until one of the following happens. One player takes all cards from the prize card zone. Once you take your 6th prize, you win the game. Or, a player runs out of cards in their deck. If it is your draw phase, or you play a card or ability that makes you draw and there are no cards remaining in your deck, you lose. Or, you knock out your opponent's only Pokemon. Even if you still have prize cards remaining and your opponent does not have any bench Pokemon to replace their knocked out active Pokemon, you win the game. And that's the basic gameplay of the Pokemon TCG. Relatively simple. There are many additional rules and mechanics to learn, such as special abilities, energy cards, and status conditions, but this should give you a good foundation to start playing. We hope you enjoy the Pokemon TCG. Happy battling!